Hello, YouTube. The Odds 22 book is a legendary submachine gun in the hands of a pilot or saboteur. Rapid-fire weapons which weigh slightly more than a liter of water, that's 1.2 kilogram, are not a fiction, but an early Russian reality. The legendary Odds 22 book submachine gun. Well, at the same time, compact weapons like this one can easily be hidden under an ordinary jacket, and at one moment turn, an ordinary situation can become a chaos of a full-fledged battle, where it is completely unclear where the barrage of fire came from. The weapon, developed in the second half of the 1990s, was originally intended for use by special categories of military personnel: Russian intelligence officers, pilots, tank crews, saboteurs, and special forces, Spetsnaz. And the Odds 22 has always been admired by professionals everywhere in the country. Making somewhat light, reliable, and deadly is exactly the task set by Viktor Zlobin, a designer from the legendary Tula Central Design Bureau, the place where many masterpieces of the Russian weapons industry were created. In the second half of the 1990s, when the country was going through very difficult times and the Russian army needed modern, affordable weapons, Zlobin began work on a new submachine gun that could become a last chance weapon for those who could not afford a bulky assault rifle. The result was the Odds 22 book, a well thought out system where every element works for minimalism, efficiency, and user safety. The name book is an abbreviation that stands for безотказный, укороченный, компактный, recoilless, shortened, compact. Although people often call it simply Zlobin's baby, with a clear hint that it looks harmless, but behaves completely out of keeping with its modest appearance. The first thing that catches your eye when you see the Odds 22 is its size. The total length is 460 millimeters, but once you fold the telescopic stock, which is made of metal tubes, the submachine gun becomes only 250 millimeters long. It's even smaller than a standard soda bottle in Russia. The solution makes it ideal for concealed carry. It can be carried under clothing, in a shoulder holster, or a simple bag without arousing any suspicion. The weight, like I said, of only 1.2 kilogram is the result of bold engineering solutions. A 20 or 30 round magazine is located directly in the fire control handle, which not only reduces the overall center of gravity, but also makes the weapon more balanced. This made it possible, in the literal sense of the expression, to keep at hand the whole 9.19 millimeter ammunition package. The case was made with extensive use of stamped parts. This reduced the cost of production and would have made it easy to establish mass production if the Russian state had such a need. The Odds 22 uses a classic free shutter circuit, that is, the recoil energy is used directly for recharging. This system is simple, reliable, and great for submachine guns. Yeah, it requires a certain bolt weight to control the rate of fire, but here too the engineers have found a middle ground. The rate of fire is impressive, from 800 to 900 rounds per minute. For comparison, the famous Pepper Shah of the Great Patriotic War, meaning World War II, produced 7 to 900 per minute, but was much larger and heavier. In other words, the book has not just caught up with the past, it outplayed it in all aspects of compactness and mobility. The firing device is a trigger type with a choice of firing modes. You can shoot single shots sparingly and accurately, or you can turn on the cue, so to say, if everything went wrong around you. This is especially important for Spetsnaz, special forces, where the situation changes in seconds. And although the open sight may seem outdated, at a range of up to 100 meters, it provides sufficient accuracy to hit a live target. And at an aiming range of 200 meters is already more than is needed in an urban confrontation or for the indoor combat. Although the basic version of the book is simple, it can be upgraded. For example, a laser designator can be mounted on the weapon. It's also possible that versions with a removable silencer were being developed, which was standard practice in those years, although this has not been officially reported. The odds 22 was chambered for the 7 and 21. That's the 9 by 19 millimeter parabellum in the West. Well, this is a serious evolution for the 9.19 millimeter Luger. Developed in Russia, the 7 and 21 is an armor-piercing pistol cartridge capable of piercing second and third class protective vests. Its initial velocity is about 360 meters a second, which is higher than that of many analogs. This means that the book is a real tool for fighting a trained opponent. For example, the crew of a tank forced to leave the vehicle under fire would be able to fight back against combatants with bulletproof vests. Or a special forces soldier trapped in an ambush will not be helpless in front of an enemy in Kevlar. That's the power of this weapon. It's designed for a mission where every shot can cost a life. Despite all its advantages, the Odds 22 never became a mass-produced weapon. It did not enter the series in large batches numbers, and it did not appear in the hands of every second Russian fighter, so to say. First, the timing. It was developed in the late 1990s, a period when Russia was experiencing an economic crisis. The army was in decline, and the arms purchases were minimized. Against this background, even an excellent weapon would go unnoticed. Secondly, there is competition. There was already the time-tested Pepe 2000, which had a different concept, maximum fire density and an integrated silencer. Also, the well-known AKS-74U, which was familiar to every soldier. Well, as for the future, the idea of the Odds 22 is still relevant. Modern battlefields are increasingly becoming urban, which means that mobility, stealth, and high fire density are important. And if Russia needs light, powerful, and compact weapons again, the book may return. Perhaps in an updated form with a polymer body, a new aiming system, or even integration with tactical flashlights and electronic sights. I want to read you some comments of the Russian users or people familiar with this weapon. I need to convert some Russian military slang or vernacular, but I like to do that. I know a number of different slangs, so to say, of the Russian language, and I try to use them in my videos too, at least so you know. But it has to be converted to be understandable. So let's start with this one. The crew of a tank will always prefer a full-fledged AK-105 or a Ksyuha than this baby. Now, Ksyuha is an AKS-74U Kalashnikov assault rifle model 1974 shortened. It's a combat carbine variety of the Soviet AK-74 rifle. Another comment, useless. The range is short. Another one, a man with a machine gun won't even duck and will kill the owner of this miracle from 200 meters, referring to the book. The pilots had never heard of it, but the bandits like it. That was a cool comment. Now here's one from somebody who had has something interesting to say. I was watching a video when a high-ranking military man came to the training ground and started shooting from AEK 9118 with a silencer, and his verdict: yes, a good submachine gun, but we have a Kalashnikov assault rifle. It's because of these statements that products don't get advancement. And if you don't need them in the army, and this is a good development, then why not make money on it and sell it to some countries? Anyway, why the heck did you come at all if you have an AK? And one more, it's mini Uzi of the Soviet variety. Another one, everyone needs to invent something to imitate violent activity. They copied Uzi or Czech submachine gun, and who needs to secretly carry submachine gun? Well, I think I have an answer. There are a few professions and occupations that would need it, but let's leave it at that. I will bring you more stories about Russian weapons and Soviet weapons, old and new, modern types and much older types. And also, you can see my videos about the Spetsnaz. If you like my videos, if you like my products, so to say, please support through the links you find in the description to this channel. Please like my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. I don't only talk about weapons, of course. I talk about paranormal activity in the Soviet Union and Russia and post-Soviet countries, Ukraine, Belarus, Central Asia, Mongolia, China, and so forth. But, to everyone, their own liking. Thank you for your attention to my work, and stay tuned for more videos.